Hello and welcome everyone to AABN's 216th weekly webinar. Let me begin by thanking the core committee members of AABN who have cooperated closely with the task force in organizing this event. This webinar series by AABN is indeed an eclectic one, bringing together small business owners, lenders, technical assistance providers, government officials, and members of the academic community to explore the challenges faced by today's entrepreneurs and to identify promising approaches to addressing their needs. Events such as this one is particularly valuable because they allow us to draw on a broad range of experiences and evidence. We are keenly interested in hearing your insights and look forward to sharing the results from AABN's continued small business outreach. We have got an awesome speaker with fresh perspectives on Operation Sindoor and India's rise in the global defense market to address us today. Let me extend a very warm welcome to our eminent guest speaker, Col Himanshi Singh, to this interactive business networking session. Over the past decade, India's defense sector has transformed from a modest assembler of components to a globally competitive manufacturer of advanced weapon systems. Guided by the Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives, defense exports have surged dramatically. This growth is a testament to technological advancement, policy support, robust R&D, and unprecedented private sector participation. Today, India stands poised to not only secure its own borders with indigenously developed platforms, but also offer comprehensive defense solutions to partner nations worldwide. The most challenging aspect of selling a product is establishing its credibility and quality perception. For weapons and weapon systems, it becomes even more difficult as establishing their battle worthiness is extremely difficult. Historically, India faced challenges due to the lack of combat proven system. Buyers were hesitant to commit to platforms that have not been tested under real combat conditions. However, Operation Sindoor has changed this narrative by providing the much needed battlefield validation. I have the pleasant duty of introducing and welcoming our eminent guest speaker, Col Himanshi Singh, to this interactive business networking session. Himanshi is a celebrated defense analyst and a dynamic, reliable, and efficient military leader with 23 years of diverse experience in operations, human resource management, operation management, administration, crisis management, and training with the professional objective of joining a motivated and goal-driven organization. Highly adaptable with a focus to utilize the skills acquired in the best possible manner to achieve the organizational objectives. Himanshi has trained over 450 international strategic leaders, 800 plus executives of NTPC, GAIL, Rosgar.com, 8,000 NCC cadets, and worked with 15,000 Indian Army soldiers. Held leadership roles in Kargil operations and addressed complex organizational issues. Her contributions include designing curriculum for specially able children in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Active participant on the panel discussing Permanent Commission for Women Officers in the Army with Parliamentary Committee. Himanshi is a global supply chain management graduate from IIFT New Delhi, recipient of the Golden Achievers Award by Sri Kalraj Mishra, Governor of Rajasthan 2022, Women Prestigious Award 2023, and Ashoka Award 2023. She has been an active participant on the panel discussing Permanent Commission for Women Officers in the Army with Parliamentary Committee. She was engaged in grooming finalists for Miss India, the Goddess 2022, and has been serving as a senior associate for Miss India Bold and Beautiful since 2021. Passionate about fostering personal and professional growth in teams and leaders, developing fierceness. She was associated with the Indian Army since 1998 as executive officer and as joint director, human resource management and administration. She is a life member in ECPFO and ISTD. With a speaker like Col Himanshi Singh lined up with distinguished experience, I am not going to extend my speech. As we discuss different emerging views and innovations in the industry, the opportunities and challenges, I believe today is going to be a day of learning for each one of us. Hope you all have a very engaging and enriching day that's beneficial for the future of your careers and the industry at large. Thank you, and over to you, Col Himanshi.
So thank you so much for an overwhelming speech, and I'm so delighted that you invited me here. and I hope I don't just share my expertise, but I take away a lot of learning from you. I'm going to steal a lot of learning from you, because what I've seen is I see stellar people sitting here, and I just wish I learn as much I try to share the knowledge which I have. So little about me. I have been instrumental in getting permanent commission to women, as we have extensively fought this bias that women cannot be officers in the Indian Army for a longer duration, as we joined the army for 5 years. And we gave facts and figures, which the court allowed us to stay for a longer time. And in times to come, recently on the 30th of May, officers from NDA have passed. So in times to come, in next 35 years, we see a army chief, a navy chief, and a air marshal from the women's side also. So this is little about me. And
Fine,
sir, I'll request you to mute yourself. So as we begin about the Operation Sindoor, we all have been watching television and have been closely monitoring what is Op Sindoor all about. Most of us have followed it, but as owing to our own personal commitments and all, we may not have seen it. So we'll come and narrow down to what Operation Sindoor is all about. We are aware that on 22nd of April, a heinous attack on 26 innocent tourists had happened, and government did not respond in that time because government planned and countered this terror attack with a precision strike. So what was Operation Sindoor all about? It was a precision military strike launched by India in May 2025 in response to Pahalgam terror attack. The operation targeted terror camps in Pakistan, and Pakistan occupied Kashmir using indigenous weapon. The thing is to be highlighted is indigenous weapon like BrahMos missile, Tejas aircraft. It showed India's military strength, technological self-reliance, and resolve to combat terrorism. We all have grown up listening and hearing the stories of terrorism in India, but today we are in a very, very safe place. So, what was the background? The background was India's decisive strike against terror, a mission of precision, power, and purpose. What were the objectives? Now, in a discussion, when I go on TV debate, a lot of people say India was having a very superior military power this time. Why we didn't go ahead and we continued this operation for a longer time? First of all, it was just an operation, it was not a war. And every operation has its objectives. As in business, we all have our objectives. We have our company's vision and mission very clear and what we want to achieve. Same way, Operation Sindoor had its own objectives. First of all, it was to deliver a strong strategic response to cross-border terrorism threats and targeting preemptive strikes on terror launchpads and infrastructure located in POK and across the line of control. And also some terror outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba, who have been troubling India for a very long time. And also to showcase India's enhanced military capability. Trust me, a lot of people never believe that India has become such a superpower in military, the way it has seen in the operations during Op Sindoor. So it was a significant demonstration of India's military power, including drones, precision guided munitions, and surveillance. Also, there are two things which Prime Minister Modi have been harping upon: Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant India, and Made in India defense platforms. We have seen how beautifully and strategically these machines have proved to be a lethal weapon against Pakistan, and also to reinforce India's deterrence strategy without escalating to a full-fledged war. The operation was executed with a surgical precision to avoid any harm to loss to the civil life or any military installations or any other place which India was not deciding to target. It emphasized on speed, coordination, and multi-domain synergy. Multi-domain synergy means from land, air, cyber, water. By doing so, it was possible with real-time intelligence and surveillance. If anyone has any questions, you can please keep writing it, and we'll discuss it later on. And somebody wants to take the pictures of this these slides, please go ahead. Now, we all are aware of the timelines of Operation Sindoor. It happened at midnight. Why government decided to have it at midnight? Because that is the time civilian peoples are not out. Our aim was not to target civilian people. It was very clear to only target the madrasas, the places where these terrorist launch pads were there, or maybe they were the nurseries. So the government's objective was very clear, only to target the Pakistani terror camps. So within 25 minutes, terrorist infrastructures in Pakistan and Pakistan occupied Kashmir were destroyed. And we have seen how later on Pakistan has given the burial, wrapping them in their national flag. Lot of Pakistani military officers were there attending this. So the nexus of Pakistan terrorist and Indian army is now clear to the world. And more than 70 terrorists who were on the list, the casualties are more, but 70 who were top on the list have been eliminated during these operations. Thereafter, Pakistan retaliated. Indian DGMO had called Pakistani DGMO saying that we have only targeted on your terror camps. In case you wish to escalate the war, you can retaliate. As the nexus there is thick, they retaliated in Samba, Uri, Punch, and intense shelling and drone activities were witnessed on the 8th. So India's air defense system had countered these threats and very less casualties have happened. They tried to target our Golden Temple, Mata Vaishno Devi. Even missile was fired towards Delhi, which was intercepted in Sirsa, and we all have seen the images on television. To counter this, on 9th, Pakistan launched an operation Bunyan al-Marsus. This was not just targeting several Indian Army bases, but also important historical installations, defense installations. A lot of mosques, temples, gurdwaras were targeted, hospitals were targeted. However, this were intercepted by our air defense system, and most of it was neutralized. Operation Bunyan ul Mursus just lasted 8 hours, just 8 hours. Before the DGMO from Pakistan called Indian DGMO on 10th and said, we would like to go and request you for a ceasefire. Now, what happened between 9th and 10th? Due to the precision strike, a lot of military bases, since Pakistan was trying to target Indian military bases. Sir, can you please mute yourself? India had targeted the installations where supposedly Pakistan had kept their nukes. And because of these attacks, as per Pakistan, somewhere in Kirana Air Base, the nuclear facility got damaged. And Pakistan requested America to intervene. However, India refused to take America's interference, and they said, in case Pakistan wants peace, they must come to us directly with a request of ceasefire. Again, Indian DGMO was approached at 5 o'clock. And then later on, Trump tweeted, Ishaq Dar, the Deputy Prime Minister of Pakistan, tweeted, but India said this is not a ceasefire. Trump and Ishaq Dar in their tweets had written that we have agreed on ceasefire. India said we have not agreed on ceasefire. We have agreed only for a uh, temporary peace, which is we are keeping Pakistan on probation. In case Pakistan behaves well, then we will stop Operation Sindoor. But for last 15 days, government has continuously saying that Operation Sindoor is still on. We have just stopped firing, but Operation Sindoor is still on. So it means I'll give you a little background to this. Why government of India is saying, because we have seen the day ceasefire was announced, same day a lot of loitering drones had come to India in at night. Somehow, due to our past experience with Pakistan, we are aware this country cannot be trusted because Pakistan itself is nothing. It has backing of USA, it has backing of China. America does not have its base in South Asia, in water, and anywhere else but for Pakistan, because Afghanistan has already thrown it out. Due to its poor economy, Pakistan is relying on America, and we have recently seen IMF has cleared its loan, and even the World Bank, despite India giving uh, so many proofs, still Pakistan is being favored by the international community and by America is primarily due to two things. First of all, weapons. Second, they need a launch pad in South Asia. And that is why now America is also interfering with Bangladesh. Any questions so far? Okay. So how India's military response came? Indian Armed Forces conducted a 23-minute tri-services strike utilizing Rafales, jets, drones, precision strike missiles to dismantle Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba. Technological self-reliance. Now here we start our real presentation. First of all, the operation showcased India's growing technical self-reliance in military operations, which seamless integration of indigenous high-tech systems such as air defense system. Now we have Akash. Akash is a SAM, surface to air missile, and the range is up to 30 kilometers, and it has actually given a stellar performance during Operation Sindoor. Then we have integrated air command and control system. Now, what is this? Why we are talking about this integrated air command and control system? Because if a missile is coming towards Kerala, this integrated web, whether sitting in Chandigarh, whether sitting in J&K, can see the threat coming to Kerala. The integration is such that those threats can be thwarted and a befitting reply can be given to that threat. It also decides that what kind of air threat is there. We broadly speak about air threat. Now, what is the air threat? Whether it is a drone, whether it is a surveillance drone, whether it is a payload drone, whether it is carrying some kind of ammunition, whether it is a helicopter, whether it is a missile, whether it is a normal 155 ammunition, what it is. So before we spend our missile on that, we must know how to deal with it. So this integrated air command and control system exactly knows how to defend with what kind of ammunition. It works in real time. The intelligence is real and it works on AI. So the human interference is very less. And that is how we have achieved what we have achieved in Operation Sindoor. Then loitering ammunition. Loitering ammunition is of three types. First of all, it can go deep without having any human on it. Secondly, it can hover upon the target. And thirdly, in case it has to abort the mission without striking, it can come back. So the most beautiful thing about this current war or the future wars is loitering ammunition, because it can decide whether it has to eliminate a target or it has to come back. That is a very beautiful thing. Now coming to the market. When India was engaged in these operations, the market played up, because anything happening in defense has its impacts on market. Any economy which is militarily strong, believe you in me, will always have its market playing very good. And this is what has been seen this time during Operation Sindoor. The market experienced initial volatility, but Sensex and Nifty rebounded by days close, showing resilience. Can somebody tell me why it would have happened? Why initial dip and then it would have soared up? Okay, because we trusted Pakistan's capability more than ours. We trusted America's weaponry and China's weaponry more than ours. But as China is, chale to chand tak, na chale to sham tak. Somehow, the made in India, somewhere with Russian S-400 and Israeli products, with Indian jugaad, has played wonder. That is how the Sensex went up when we started telling the television on national media, we started broadcasting that we have arrived with our own weapon system. The DGISPR, which is a Pakistani agency, and along with Chinese propaganda, tried to interfere with the entire info warfare. The war is not just fought militarily, it is fought psychologically, it is fought with information, it is fought with weapons. And also, you need a good diplomacy. So, what China and Pakistan were ahead of us was in information warfare, may not be on ground, but yes, the way they tried to put false information in Indian domain had somehow caused trouble in the market also. Defense stocks surged following Operation Sindoor, with companies like HAL, Bell rising up to 4. Mid and small cap turned into volatile, with some investor rotating capital into sectoral and thematic funds. Rest all remain largely stable, because FMCG and pharma was not dealing with defense. So defense Sensex remained volatile. Now we come to the growing defense exports. India is now making waves with its defense production. We have recently seen a new facility which has come up in Lucknow. Rajnath Singh ji has just inaugurated. But I'll give you a little background about why Turkey is helping Pakistan. Can anybody tell me why Turkey is helping Pakistan and we are making faces about it? Sir, Turkey is helping Pakistan not because it is pan-Islamic movement or something, because India is also exporting weapons to Armenia. In 1915, there was a massacre of 1.5 lakhs of Armenians by Turkey. And Turkey till date has not normalized. Turkey and Armenia, they do not have their normal relations till date. So if Armenia is buying weapons from us, Turkey will definitely consider us as one of us as an ally to one of their adversaries. So that is one of the reasons Turkey is not in good military terms with India, and it is supporting Pakistan. Now, coming back to the slide, in 2024-2025, the defense exports reached up to unprecedented of how many? 2.76 billion, making a market of 12.4 increase than the previous fiscal year. And global outreach. Now, if you see, the India exported defense equipment to almost 80 countries, including Africa, South Asia, America. Philippines is buying from us, Armenia. We are even giving systems to France. France is buying a lot of defense software from us. America is buying small parts of the uh, aeroplanes and helicopters from us. So our global outreach has increased. Notable exports encompasses a range of products such as ammunitions, arms, subsystems, and component. Armenia has ordered the Akash defense system. Philippines, as I said, almost 200 million deal for Akash has been closed with Philippines, and I think it's going to grow up. And the sector contributors are not just the PSUs. We also have private sectors. There are 450 registered companies in defense sector in India, and there are more than 16,000 MSMEs. So those of you who are into small manufacturing, this is a big market which India is tapping, and I think this is the time to actually go into defense sector, those who are trying to diversify their manufacturing. Private sector has contributed INR 15,233 crores, and defense sector undertakings have seen a growth of 42.85. That is whooping. It is whooping. And I'm so glad Gopi sir invited me to talk about this to this business forum. Now, India's defense export have seen a significant surge like US, Russia, several Southeast nations showing interest in Indian defense products. So whenever we have any global display of weaponry where a lot of companies go and display their military equipment, India is actually making waves with small drones, with night vision devices, with their boots, gloves, and it is not a very high price or high value item that India is selling. Apart from that, India is also making waves in small items which are of military imports. Even the night vision devices of India are a hot cake these days. Make in India initiative promoting indigenous production and reducing dependence on import. India is actually focusing a lot on Made in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, because if any country has to become a military superpower, it has to be self-contained. Why Russia is not going down to Ukraine? Because Russia is self-sufficient. It does not need other countries. You put sanctions, it doesn't care because it is self-sufficient militarily. We had placed an order of 200 engines of Tejas on America. America kept on delaying it. Now, if the world dynamics are not in your favor, we may be very good friends and diplomats. They will never utter even a single word against America or anyone. But on ground, things are different. In America, delaying this 200 engines of Tejas has affected our production. We are supposed to be giving these Tejas to other countries also. So our exports, our production, it gets affected. So India is now trying to work on Kaveri, which is again going to be a defense engine system. It is working with Rolls-Royce, France, and an unnamed company of Japan. So India is actually trying to be self-reliant in terms of air engines also. Growing technological edge, India's technological edge, advancement in defense such as air defense system and loitering munitions demonstrate its growing capability. See, what we have seen, the Indian market, especially the drones, have not allowed most of Pakistan's missiles and drones. Almost 480 drones were destroyed when on the 10th, on 9th, when Pakistan tried to hit back to India. So, which is a very big thing that most of it was destroyed in air without any loss of life. Booming economy. India is now the fourth largest economy in the world. It has just overtaken Japan and will overtake Germany in times to come, driven by sectors like IT, pharmaceutical, defense, energy, and infrastructure, which is, I think, a moment of glory for all of us that we have become the fourth largest economy despite the chaos we have around us, despite the mismanagement of manpower we have around. We keep sulking, yet India is growing at leaps and bounds. Make in India and self-reliance. The Make in India initiative has turned country into a global manufacturing hub for electronics, automotives, and defense equipment. India's defense export have grown 34% since 2014, crossing, as I said, 23,000 crores. I mean, which is Hercules. Strategic partnerships. India has now trade agreements with Europe, Middle East, and Southeast Asia regarding the defense. And as you are aware, global groupings like G20, Quad, BRICS, enhancing its geopolitical and trade influence. Digital leadership. As I said, even countries like France, they are trying to import software from India. So it means somewhere we are giving a world-class technology to the world. The largest identify system, that is Aadhaar, and the fintech market, India remains a boss. Global investment is coming in terms of technology, green energy, and infrastructure. Adanis and Tatas are doing a great job. Cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune are now international tech and innovation hubs. And we are an export powerhouse in petroleum products, pharmaceuticals, engineering, textiles, and defense equipment. New export markets are emerging in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. So the leaders win through logistic, vision, show strategy, yes. But when you go to a war, you need to have both toilet paper and bullets at the right place at the right time. In the other words, you must be thorough superior in logistic. Do you agree with me? You can show a thumbs up in the comment box. Any operation or a military strike can only be won if we take care of our logistics, because operations or war, you don't know which side it will go. You can only be sure of your strength. You can only be sure of your own logistics, but you are not aware what army the opponent or your enemy brings. So you have to be very, very sure of your logistics. Like when the Ukraine-Russia war started, people thought it will end in no time because Russia is a superpower and Ukraine will bow down in no time. Same when we started this Operation Sindoor with Pakistan. It is a very prudent decision by the government of India not to wage war, but to show its military supremacy in no time and finish this in 3 or 4 days. Because when we continue the war, we don't know which side it is going to flip. Then our economy goes for a six, our emotionals and psychological warfare starts to monger. Information, fake information, that starts to circulate around. The diplomacy flips, and since the world is driven by economics, we start getting affected. So I think it is a very, very prudent part on government of India not to wage war, but to expose the nexus of Pakistani army and the terror groups to the world, so that the entire world is aware what we are facing on day-to-day basis. Now coming to the indigenous projection. The indigenous production is deployment of Indian-made aircrafts, drones, and communication tools. The Rajendra radar, which is with the Silka weapon system. Silka used to be a very basic weapon system, but when the Jugaad happened, when they tried, India is not starting everything from the scratch. What it is doing, whatever is available, it is trying to renovate it and make a world-class system. So the basic weaponry which we had has also been integrated with the radar system, so that for everything, we don't have to throw a missile. If a small bomb can do it, we have our Shilka. So this is how India has made its innovations. Equipment from HAL, DRDO, and Bharat Electronics was used extensively. HAL gives you Raptors and your Tejas. DRDO gives you your missiles, and BEL gives you your eyes and ears, the radars and the walkie-talkies and other things. So together they become a very deadly combination. Prove the capability of India's defense manufacturing ecosystem to meet the real world operations demand. The Indian ecosystem of what I just covered in the previous paragraph is very clear. We have the power because we have air power, we have missiles, we have our own eyes and ears, Netra, which could see what is coming. So all this ecosystem makes it a stellar performer. Apart from that, India also moved its navy. INS Vikrant was moved, which is the entire battlefield in itself. It does not move alone. It has its submarines, it is nuclear equipped, and it has other warships moving with it. So the Karachi port there was a siege laid. Indian Navy did not fire much, but the supremacy in the sea was established, so that the aids are coming and which other things are coming to Pakistan can be halted in case we go for a full-fledged war. Increased self-reliance. The operation reinforced India's position as a nation capable of defending its interest independently. Now, the sovereignty of India is established, and India alone can defend any other threat which is thrown to us, has been established by Operation Sindoor. Reduced dependence on foreign defense imports by relying on indigenous alternatives. This is a very, very stellar move by India. Now it is exporting and not just depending on the imports. Boosted credibility of Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign, especially in strategic and defense system. See, when army chief goes and witnesses an operation in Bobina or exercise in Bobina, when Rajnath Singh goes, or when our Home Minister ji goes, this is an endorsement by the highest military authority or the civil authority of our weapon system when they are being used. That we are using these weapons in our own operations and we are very sure about it. The efficacy is proven. They are cost effective. And when we use them in our own weapon, they are not just being displayed in an war show. They are being used in real time. So the efficacy is proven. And this is how we make the world trust what we do. Job creations. Now, the operation has led to increased demand for Indian-made defense products, resulting in new job opportunities in manufacturing, research and development, and logistics. This is obviously a byproduct. Growth of MSMEs, as I earlier covered, that 1,600 plus 16,000 plus MSMEs are involved in support defense manufacturing. They're already involved. Expansion of skill development. Now, this will give youth a direction that aerospace, electronics, and different technologies are the future things and they must invest in it. Export potential. Success, as we have covered earlier. Success in Operation Sindoor boosted international confidence in Indian defense products. Several countries have expressed interest in Indian-made drones, radars, and surveillance system. And Indian export have seen a sharp rise, strengthening India's image as a reliable exporter of affordable, high-quality defense solutions. Now, the weapon system. The weapon system which we have, the world-class weapon system which we are talking about is BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. Till now, we have used the BrahMos, which was having the range of good about 250 to 400 kilometers. But the BrahMos NG, the work is on, will cover the range of almost 5 to 800 kilometers and will be deployed by Indian Navy, Army and Air Force. The beauty of BrahMos supersonic missile is that it can be used in all weather. It can be used under the sea. It can be fired from surface to air and air to surface. So it's dynamic. And moreover, the precision is that up to 1 meter is the precision. So it means it can actually make the strikes on the target where you have locked it. Tejas light combat aircraft, we have Prachand. So these are all made by HAL. Akash defense system, we all have seen it extensively being covered, and it is made by DRDO. 30 kilometer is the range, and it is again lethal. You can operate it with a mobile, you can operate it with a communication network, you can operate it from a laptop. So it is again a versatile defense system. Pinaka, the multi-barrel defense launcher. So it is capable of striking 12 rockets in 44 seconds, which is amazing. And it has a range of 45 kilometers with accuracy. So when the drones were coming, systems like this have actually saved us. So these are some pictures of the weapon system, which was used by India in Operation Sindoor. We have already discussed BrahMos supersonic missile, Akash. We have discussed Pinaka. We have discussed. Then artillery, guns, and ammunitions. We are not just making it; we are also giving it to countries like Armenia, Philippines. There are military helicopters which are being made in India. Naval vessels are being made in India. Armored vehicles and trucks, electronic and surveillance system like radars, simulators, thermal imagers, avionic components, night vision, helmets. These all things are being made in India and being exported. The impact of Operation Sindoor. First of all, it has strengthened national security. It has demonstrated the operational readiness and military precision of India. Weapons like BrahMos, Akash, drone were highly effective. We have told the world in global recognition that our response was measured and with precision. We know whom to hit and how much to hit. So you should not question when we retaliate. And we have also established ourselves as a responsible regional power. It has also boosted Indian defense industry, made in India, and the Atmanirbhar Bharat has come out like a hero. Defense export and production has increased. We have stronger strategic alliances now with countries like France, Israel, and US for tech sharing and surveillance. We are emerging as an arms supplier to the friendly nations, and economic and civil readiness. Yesterday, there was a mock drill. On 7th, we had a mock drill. So we are not just being ready on the borders, but we are also teaching our civilians how to cooperate and avert a real time threat. What should be our response? What are roles and responsibility? How the fire and safety department will behave? How the police will behave? What are the responsibilities of the medical department? How students and teachers can contribute? What is the role of the NSS? What is the role of NCC and Scouts and Guides? So everything is being prepared simultaneously, because after 1971 we didn't go for a war. India is a peace loving country and drills like this was not needed. But now, we, as the government is continuously saying that Operation Sindoor is not over, and because Pakistan is going to country, it has visited Iraq, it has visited Turkey and Azerbaijan. So when India is moving to countries like this, China is there, US is backing Pakistan. We cannot have a permanent peace solution with Pakistan if we are not militarily very strong. Because we know what is playing up. It is the weapon and money which is being pumped up by different countries to Pakistan. So we have to be very, very prepared, especially as civilians and as normal citizens of this country. India is also trying to reform its border infrastructure and cyber defense, because next war will not just be the military power, but the cyberspace, which is being threatened on everyday basis. Now, future, what we see. First of all, defense manufacturing is a growth engine, and strong indigenous defense industry boosts the GDP and reduces import dependency. This we have already covered. MSME growth, smaller suppliers play a major role, because it is, even if it is a plane, it needs thousands and thousands of components which are mill grade, which are needed to create a ripple effect across the industry. Now, a lot of people are putting in their money in defense sector and in private investment, because first of all, it has to do something with India's prestige. Secondly, we are becoming self-reliant, and associated with associating ourselves with defense is a major of it's a matter of prestige. India has increased its global presence by expanding defense exports. Brand India is now known everywhere post Operation Sindoor. And now we will participate heavily in global forums to show our expertise in various defense expos, which are going to be happening across the world. We are strengthening our research and development, especially in AI, drone warfare, and cyber defense. Next gen weaponry. Now, as I said, the Akash NG and other things, the next generation weapon system are being tested. Next generation fighter planes are being tested. So very soon, whatever we have will be upgraded to the next level. Private and public collaboration is happening in a bigger way. DRDO, ISRO, and private firms are fostering innovation in defense and aerospace technologies. Strategic collaborations are happening with various countries after Sindoor. Regional influence will increase because India will be accepted globally as a security provider to the world in Indo-Pacific region. Defense diplomacy will be affected now as India's export and training missions will become a key tool in diplomatic missions also. Operation Sindoor has demonstrated India's quick strike capability. A strong military doctrine is now established. It says new India will respond. The new normal is that any act of terror will be treated as an act of war. Earlier, we were not that aggressive, but now we have become very aggressive. And the trust of local population has increased on defense and the government. I have given out these figures. Please, as we are running short of time, please take a picture of this. I'm just trying to show that how India is making progress, leaps and bounds from 2016 to 2026. We have made tremendous progress financially when it comes to defense budget growth. Conclusion. As we have seen this entire presentation, Operation Sindoor is a landmark in India's counter-terror strategy. It combines military might with global diplomacy, and now we are very clear we have zero tolerance to terrorism. As the Pradhan Mantri says, "Aap goli maroge, hum gola marenge." So now the message is very clear to the world. Please don't mess with India. We are a powerful, autonomous country, and we will take you head on. I have finished, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions? I'm open to answer all.
Thank you very much, Colonel Himanshi. We'll now keep the floor open for question and answers. Yeah, participants, you may please unmute and ask your questions, please.
Good morning, madam. I am Karthik. I have a small clarification, if it can be revealed. See, I read an article in today's newspapers. That we had made some initial mistakes, and we have corrected. Can you please brief on that, if possible, if it can be revealed?
Yes, Mr. Karthi, I also read that news, and it is making waves that Chief of Defense Staff has gone to Singapore, and he has spoken to Bloomberg, and he said that initial mistakes were made. I am not aware about the figures, but see, when you are in a state of operations, one side cannot have complete supremacy. There are chances that some losses to both sides occur. The figures will come out in due course of time when the government also have a joint parliamentary session, and everything will be disclosed in public domain. As of now, what I can say, Mr. Karthi, that it is not possible that no damage has been done. Some damage happens, but yes, more or less, most of the Indian weaponry is safe and sound. Our border are still safe and sound, and we have tried to intercept every threat which was coming. But initially, I really don't know, because since it has not come in public domain, I do not have my own sources in the government of India, so I won't be able to give you the correct pictures. But yes, I agree that some damages must have happened.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam, this is Davamani here. I feel a sort of a dilemma to see whether we have to give such a propaganda to what we have done, or we should keep quiet further. Because are we going on pinning or pinching these guys to take some action on us? Will it be understood in that way? I'm a bit worried about this trend. What do you feel about this?
Mr. Dhavamani, actually, what is happening? Chinese propaganda and Pakistani propaganda is far ahead of India, because we Indians, we believe in dharma and karma. I have done my karma, so dharma will happen. But what is happening? Pakistan and China has been able to set a global narrative that they are superpower here. However, we have seen during Operation Sindoor that Chinese weapons, the Turkish weapon, were destroyed by Indian homemade indigenous systems. We need to give our narrative to the world, because what is happening, since we were not giving our global narrative and it was not a strong global narrative, Pakistan is still getting aids from the IMF, it is still getting aids from the World Bank. Nobody is actually believing that Pakistan can terrorize us so much, because they go and say that India is 6 times more than us. They are bigger economy. How can we terrorize them? We are ourselves being terrorized by terror. This is Pakistan's narrative. If we do not counter it, if we do not show them our military strength, they will keep on troubling us. So, setting up of a narrative, going and establishing that faith in normal people is very important. These are psychological wars which have to be fought, and they have to be fought continuously. I hope I have answered your query.
Yeah, very well, very well. Nice. Thank you. But any comments on that Baluchistan thing which has cropped up in between, telling that they are trying to claim independence?
Well, I have been on discussion on TV panel where I've been with Baluch. India is playing very safe, though Baluch have declared their independence and Pakistan army is trying not to give independence to them. India has so far not given any comments on saying that they don't want to open another front. India does not want to open another front. Baloch very much want to be part of India, not just independent. Some of them, they say, we call this is our Madre Vatan. We will say Vande Mataram with you. But do we want that kind of population with us? Because getting somebody on board is very easy. Like in business, you must be doing a lot of collaborations. But to keep them on board for a longer time, you have to have a strategy. So as of now, India is playing very safe. It does not want to get into this domain of Baloch.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello,
Ma'am?
hello, can I speak now?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, this is Vasan Shanbag. Hello, Col Himanshi. Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. A lot of information. First of all, is it okay for me to share these slides with my friends and well-wishers? Perfect. Oh, fine. So nice of you. Now, following up on the earlier question, see, we don't want Balochistan to be there, but then how do we really soften up this this sort of a country like Pakistan? There has to be, we need to do something more, right?
Very valid question. We need to see, in Sanskrit, there's something known as Sachte Shatayam Samacharet. If somebody is shrewd, somebody is unkind, you don't have to show your softness to them. This is the right time. India has changed its defense doctrine. It says that any act of terror will be an act of war, means if tomorrow it is a deterrent, like you have to tell our military might is powerful, it can overpower you anytime. We have actually, the cut this IWT, the water has been cut to Pakistan. It is actually showing now. As per the report, more than 1 crore people in Pakistan are suffering from famine. They do not have food to eat. And country like Pakistan, who survives mostly on agriculture, will start feeling the pinch. As of now, whatever money is coming, they're diverting it to buy weapons, or they are just feeding these terrorists. But in times to come, as now India has refused to bow down to these powers, in times to come, it will show. Nothing happens in a day. It's a very gradual process. But since now we have stood up for ourselves, in times to come, you will see a shift towards India. However, I would just like to put a caution here. We have become a strong contender against US and China. by becoming a superpower militarily. So we cannot expect them to be friends with us. However, they will always be friends with Pakistan to counter India. So it is a very, very delicate dynamic, which I'm sure the leadership is taking care. I hope I have answered your question.
Shanbag?
Hello.
Yes,
Can I?
thank you very much.
Yes,
Hello.
Mr. Vishwanath, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Today,
you could hear me, right?
yeah, CDS Anil Chauhan has said, yeah, we lost some aircrafts, but not six. Why it's not transparent? Why should there be? I mean, why such a delay in? I mean, why can't it be? Say, yeah, we did lose so many aircrafts, and then this is what happened. Would it be? I mean, credibility will be restored, right?
Vishwanath sir, actually, India is trying to be more credible. That is why India is not going out blowing its own trumpet. There is a system in place. All these reports will be tabled in the parliament, because whether it is army, whether it is navy, whether it's air force, they are not allowed to give their independent views. There's a system in place which does not allow them. I'm sure that is why CDA has not given the number. The damage is not much. And we cannot go on a propaganda like China and Pakistan. However, India is now trying to build up its own narrative. We have lost a narrative. Why? I will tell you, we have lost a narrative. Pakistan has its own reporters sitting in uh, uh, France, in USA, in Britain. They have their people sitting there. They are there in the system. In India, we are not that kind of people. We do not blow our trumpet. However, since CDA has given this statement yesterday, I think within 1 week, government will table this report of what losses have incurred and how much damage has been done in terms of money, in terms of weapons, in terms of manpower. It will come, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Great presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Ravindranath, sir. Sir, you're muted. Your mic is muted, sir.
Sorry. Lieutenant Col Himanshi, thank you very much for your excellent presentation. Very sort of to the point and then very brief. Only my point is, of course, I am from L&T, so we are one of the supporting
Stakeholders.
defense systems, and then
You are
we
the
started
stakeholders.
much earlier, and BrahMos and all that, we are involved very much in that. So while I mean now many private organizations, almost 9 of them are very active, and we're very happy about it. In the last about 7-8 years, all these companies have come about, and then most of the things that have been tested recently, the quality, precision, and also the final operational perfectness, I think all achieved. Congratulations to both army forces and of course these private organizations, and especially DRDO, ISRO, and all that, because even the satellite communication is one of the most critical part that has played a role. My question is that yesterday, I mean, on the TV, Air Chief Marshal, retired Bahadur, he was on the online. Someone had put a question that this advanced medium combat aircraft AMCA, which is being under sort of production in India, is going to be coming out only by 2029. And whereas China is going the 5th generation, their stealth, that jet, much before that, by 26, and then that could pose some kind of a threat, and they will supply it to Pakistan, that particular one. So when you was put this question, what is the thing? Do we still depend only on the indigenous stuff, or we need to sort of import? He has answered something, but what is your view on that?
Sir, we are already having our collaborations with Rolls-Royce when it comes to engines.
Okay.
We are also working with some, you must be aware that we are also working with some unnamed companies in Japan, because you are aware that the engines which are being used in helicopters and jet, they have to have a different kind of alloy itself. The material has to be, because it has to be tested. It has to be mill grade, first of all, and it has to be tested in different terrains. It should well work in -50°. It must work well in the deserts. It must work well everywhere. So when we are actually working on this kind of equipment, then the prototypes are given, and the prototypes have to be tested at least 200 times, because the efficacy has to be proven, and you have to avoid not just the accidents. It should work in that kind of terrain with those I'll say during the actual time of war. So when we talk about these things, so first of all, the prototypes are tested. Secondly, there is a constant upgradation of MGs. Now the new gen is coming, the stealth is coming, so the simultaneous work is happening. It is not that only we are working in one direction, only on helicopters or only on Tejas or only on the Tejas NG or whatever. So these are simultaneously things, sir. And you would know that uh, even now we are not indigenously 200% self-reliant. We are still relying. We are relying on a lot of sources abroad, and these dynamics change. Like as I was mentioning in my presentation, sir, 200 Tejas engines which we were supposed to be taking from USA, it delayed it on purpose. It is not they were not able to give it. As you must be aware of the Boeing fasteners case, it is a very, very famous case. So even for a small fastener like thing, we can be stranded. So these things are actually dynamic, and nobody can actually pinpoint that, okay, fine, this will come or that will come. So let's see, sir, how it progress. But however, I am very, very personally, I'm very happy with the progress the way we are making. I hope, sir, I have answered your question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much. And only part I had in mind was whether we need to just substitute something for the next 3-4 years by importing a couple of them, I don't know, the equivalent ones from elsewhere. But government seems to be more to expedite the production cycle instead of 2029, getting it earlier by a couple of years. That's possible in this country, I can tell you. I think the manufacturing groups which are working on, and only point you very well made is actually we are facing in all the EV vehicles here any place is actually the magnets. That material is very, very specific, and China holds about 70% of that.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes, that is the problem.
Yeah. Otherwise, your
Sir.
other points are excellently very, very validated, because they are the precision and the testing is important. That's what made our success in this particular recent operations. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel. Just
Thank you so
meeting
much,
an
sir.
army person is we're all sort of blessed to have you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All courtesy, Gopi, sir.
Yeah, and this is Raghu. Hope I'm audible. It
Sir.
was a great presentation, Lieutenant Colonel Ms. Himanshi. And see, my question is actually, for example, we have India as a country, our defense policy is no first attack policy, right? But in incidents like this, once we decided to, kind of, attack them or take action, we know where to attack. Right. So it means our intelligence, we have data about where and all the terrorists are hiding or setting up their camps all over Pakistan. So when that is the case, should we wait for them to attack our innocent people every time before we go and attack them? So is there a way by which as a country can we just review this policy of no first attack policy, especially with Pakistan, especially because we keep telling we did not attack Pakistan, we are only attacking the terrorists in Pakistan, right? If that is the case, why can't we just review our defense as a defense policy and time to time, right? Because these people whoever leftover people in terrorists, I'm sure within 6 months they will put everything back and start doing, because that is their full time, because they are probably mercenaries. To my mind, Pakistan as a whole country has become mercenary, right? They are probably executing what China wants or what somebody else wants, right? So from my what I'm wondering is, from time to time, let's say for every 6 months, for example, right, can we clean up the terrorist camps in Pakistan, without before they kind of come to our territory and kill innocent people, right? Thank you.
And do you want me to respond to your question? Or was it your views?
Sorry, come again.
Okay. I'll respond to what you have asked, sir.
Thank you.
During Operation Sindoor, India has used its Navik satellite and China has used its Beidou satellite, that we are all aware. The data was not there with them, and we have actually, jammed their system and rogered their system nice and proper. First thing. Secondly, the human intelligence and the AI has to work together. Policies are made at Government of India. Defense people cannot have a policy of their own. Anything which we propose has to be vetted and signed by somebody sitting in the Ministry of Defense. They are the people who have to decide. Now the policy is very clear. The military doctrine is very clear, which is being said by the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the Defense Minister. They are very clear. Now we are going to have an aggressive policy where we are going to hit these people. But the problem is, sir, the nexus of terrorists and the military in Pakistan is so thick that you have seen when Azhar Masood and Hafiz Saeed's markers were hit. You saw lieutenant generals were standing there offering them the namaz-e-janaza. And apart from that, when this IMF loan comes, 14 crores is given to Masood Azhar's family. This is the kind of ties we have. We are not fighting terrorists. We are fighting a country where the nexus of terrorism and military is very thick. It is not going to be easy, sir. It is not going to be easy, as anyone you go after thinking it is a terrorist, you will find that it is a military leader, it is an ISI agent. So we have to be very, very clear with our precision, because India cannot, as of now, cannot win Pakistan on the kind of warfare they're fighting in terms of narrating the stories. पाकिस्तान के पास ना ये कला है, आर्ट है, ये वो अपनी कहानियां बहुत अच्छी सुनाते हैं. So if you listen to any of those leaders, अभी वो यौम तकबीर हुआ था, उसमें आप उनकी कहानियां सुनिए. So these people are very good in narration, sir. And we have to act. We have been giving lists to all the world. And Pakistan goes and says, "Ye hum to khud hi mar gaye." So they have more sympathy than us, because Indians, they don't go and cry in the world. That is the problem, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Nirmala.
Yeah, sir. First of all, ma'am, it was really an excellent presentation. Like, the information was too much to take it up, and we are very happy to hear from you. I just got a quick question, ma'am. So, of late, we are just hearing that, it is very challenging to face enemy. How challenging is to face the spy? So, I just came across some news that some Indian social media influencers and other people are spying for Pakistan. So, how how you are going to take it on it? So, what's your call on that?
Ma'am, we have to be very, very vigilant. First of all, anybody around us can be a spy. They don't come like what we saw in the movies earlier. It is not the Karamchand which is there. Anybody around you, whether it does not matter what strata of society they come from. It can be an officer, it can be a kambala, it can be a rediwala, it can be a mobile shop repair. Anybody, you have to be vigilant. Please do not trust people blindly. When you see anything, like if this girl, Jyoti Malhotra, was visiting Pakistan and putting out pictures like this, were we blind? How can she afford that kind of lifestyle? How can she just go to Pakistan so many times? I have been in army. My father was an intelligence officer. The only thing we were taught from the very childhood was to question anybody and everybody who comes in your circle. That is very important, ma'am. Vigilance is our protection. And especially in the times of cyber warfare, awareness becomes our weapon. So please be very, very aware. Don't trust people blindly. Always have a background check before you allow anybody in your close circle, in your family, or in your workplace. That is very important. Government cannot do everything. It is for us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Kasuri Rajan, sir, please go on, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gopi. Good morning, Lieutenant Colonel Himanshi.
Sir, good morning.
It was a fantastic presentation by you and a very insightful, informative, and very, very useful presentation. And it has covered widely the Indian Armed Forces, the action in the field, and we also, could display our military might in such a short span of 4 days. And we have sent a clear message to our enemy and also the uh, alliance partners of our enemy and also to the entire world. Okay. Now, definitely, I'd like to appreciate your presentation, and it was a very, very, very informative presentation. And the other thing is, I'd like to say that somebody asked one of our members that why not we make it transparent, explain everything. Uh, See, I would like to say that everything cannot be uh, disclosed or revealed about the military operations and such a sensitive, it's a kind of a war between our enemy and our country. And everything cannot be made transparent or open or discussed in open
Yeah, it cannot
platform.
be made public.
Yeah, made public, and it cannot be discussed in a platform with specific statistics or the data, the details. So it is going to definitely pose security threats, and we don't know. Cyber security threats are there. Plus, people can tap the information, and then, as you rightly said, jugad. They can manipulate things, and then garbage of communication, garbage in the information provided by them. No, there are people, as you rightly said, there are enemies within. So it can get garbled, and then wrong information can get through. So that is why I think what our government, our army, uh, everyone is doing is that maintain, definitely the people of India, the citizens, ordinary citizens, the people, the countrymen should know what is happening, what happened, and how our military responded, how we could overcome the war within such a short time, and in fact, how we demolish their terror networks, everything. That's all very good, very good information, very important information that should be shared. And how we displayed our, weaponaries and our defense equipment, how we deployed them in the field, and how our armed forces, could use it so effectively and very precision, targets are attacked, and then the terror networks were demolished, the infrastructure got demolished, as you rightly said, Lakshya all that. So that's very, very important because Aam Aadmi may not know what is happening, and they may read some newspapers or TV news and things like that. These are all, not very, very clear information. So it's good that we discuss it in a platform. That's one point. I'd like to say that everything cannot be discussed openly or revealed, or the information cannot be 100% transparent. The other thing is, as you rightly said, uh, you know, India is really marching ahead, both in terms of economics and the military power, and especially, the defense corridors, which the government of India introduced, one in Chennai and one in Lucknow. About a lack of small MSMEs, MSMEs have taken up the indigenization of our product under the Make in India program and Atmanirbhar. So that's a very good thing which this government has brought in, and many job creation and employment opportunities are gaining momentum. And a lot of, we don't have dearth of any intellectual or knowledge. Uh, we have, we ours is it's a kind of an intellectual mind, and we have our own skills and talents and intelligence of our own youngsters, youth, and our people who are contributing in the defense electronics. So definitely our country has our own potential to develop, indigenize and design, manufacture, and also deploy them in the field. And, we can definitely, and as you rightly said, we have to be ready for any future threats. And the way the data and the information from our enemies also is very important. As you rightly said, we cannot make 100% error free or 100% loss free. Definitely, our the weaponaries or the equipment we deployed may have some damages or some losses, maybe human losses. So that is happening. That will happen in a war situation. So there cannot be a 0% loss in human in terms of human losses or
Collateral damage, sir.
collateral damages. So definitely there will be losses. Even if there is a street fight, somebody will get give 4 hits and the other fellow will get at least 1 hit. So that is there. That is in a war situation or a fighting situation. As one thing. And another important thing I'd like to tell you is I want to just make it slightly, making it little longer. Actually, I'm also happy to say that I worked on Russian tanks T-72 when it was brought into India, when Madam Gandhi was a prime minister. I worked in heavy vehicles factory Avadi for about a couple of years. And I was working with 70 Russian engineers. And they had actually one translator and who used to speak English. So they, in fact, compelled us to learn Russian. And we got a Russian diploma also to interact with the Russian engineers, like engine expert or ammunition expert or the electronics control systems expert. So I used to interact with them, and I worked in the indigenization process. I was also looking after the Vijayanta tanks and the plant maintenance. I was in charge of the plant maintenance. I was a lone electronics engineer those days. And later on, from T-72, then later on I resigned and moved to the Central Public Sector company under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in New Delhi. I worked there for about 30 years. Then from the assistant engineer, I became the chairman MD of that company under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I was heading the company. Then prior to that, I was the national head of computer education training, under which, we used to, train the armed forces, army headquarters, the senior officials, majors, lieutenant colonels, even up to major general in the engineering works. They used to come for a 2-year PG diploma program under the non-formal education, which was recognized by the government of India and the Indian Ministry of Defense. So they used to come and they used to get 2 years leave, undergo the entire course, and then they used to get promotion and they used to get deployed in, hardware and software computer education training. So they used to get engaged in their computer control systems and
We have finished, Gopi, sir?
Rajendra, you have a question, Rajendra? Anyone else
Hello.
has a question? Yeah, Rajendra, please go on.
No question as such, but I allowed the presentation as well as the follow-up discussion. Thank you. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Anyone else has a question? One last question we can take.
Gopi sir, this is Arvind here. I have a question.
Yeah, Arvind, please go on.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very insightful and patriotic thing. In fact, we had a goosebumps here looking at the presentation. I just have one thought here. If you look at
Arvind, your mic is muted. Arvind, you're muted.
so, is it audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one question, ma'am. Basically, if you look at countries like Singapore, they make mandatory that after the education, the male boys have to get into the military grade, and then they have to serve the army for 2 years, and then so this sort of an ecosystem, defense ecosystem in India. Is it right time that we do this also in Indian defense policy, where graduates who are coming from their engineering has to get into the 2-year discipline course, which helps us to become more powerful?
That's a very great thought, sir. But I feel India already allows the youth to choose the NCC and the Scouts and Guides. Now, anybody joining NCC goes through a military training, something which something like 3 years, 4 years. So anybody who actually wants to learn the military ethos and the discipline can learn it. The kind of population India has, and see, they have started this Agniveer. Agniveer, actually, after 12th, you can get yourself, to join army and be there for some time. So that kind of provision is already there. It is for us. It is the onus is on us how disciplined we want to be, how much patriotic we want to be, how much and what we want to do for the country rather than country doing for us. See, I have seen spies up close and personal, you know, and they have taken military training from the Indian army. I've seen that kind of people. So a lot has to be done by us ourselves. The country is already giving us the opportunity as NCC in different fields to join it and see for yourself, do you really want to become a part of this? Short service commission is there. So I think as a democracy, it is allowing people to choose. Otherwise, if you see in a country like Israel, I visited Israel, you see the young girls and boys are moving with the weapons, and they are being trained. Girls are being trained for 2 years, the boys are being trained for 3 years. And it is in a constant state of war. But India is not in a constant state of war. We have other things like finances and the economy and the education and the art and culture. Everything has to be taken care of. So this is my personal opinion, because I think what we are doing in terms of military is good enough.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can I ask one last question?
Please go on, Ishu.
One question that has been bothering, I mean, we did a great thing in defense, defending against the drones. But is there any, at what cost in terms of, we deployed S-400s and things like that. There has been a comment, because I come from an educational institute, and which is very famous for drones. The College of Engineering, Gindi, we have a very successful startup in drones. And one doubt we have is, did Pakistan keep sending paper drones, and were we deploying S-400s? What is the cost implication? We are all businessmen also. At the end of the day, we make compromises. Sometimes, we have to bite the bullet, keep quiet, though we know things are wrong. What is the cost implication of this this kind of? I mean, it's to be patriotic is one on one side is good, but what does it cost? I mean, is it worth it? Just a thought. I mean, I'm not trying to be unpatriotic. I'm just
No.
calling for a
Sir,
discussion on that.
have you seen the S4 system? Are you
No.
aware of the S4 system? I request, sir, you must check what is the S4 system. Why?
S400.
Because it is S400, because it is not just a single vehicle. It is the entire system. There's a command, then there is batteries, and there are other things to it. Please go and have a look. India did not use S-400 to counter each and every drone attack which came from Pakistan, because Pakistan was trying to fool us by sending these paper drones, by sending us these surveillance, and some were equipped with payload and weaponry, but most of them were not. Because Pakistan wanted us to waste our missiles and other drones on this. So systems like, I had covered this in my presentation, systems like Silka, which is a very, very basic, somebody who's already, from the defense system, they would understand. So they, with the Rajendra radar system, very basic. So the AD is integrated, as initially I had covered, that the AD system knows what threat is coming. It knows whether the missile is coming, whether it is a helicopter is coming, whether it is equipped with some kind of payload which can damage India. That is how we have intercepted missile in Sirsa, because the weapon system can identify. It is the next gen thing. It has the mind and eyes of its own. So these drones, they were not intercepted by missiles, and also they were actually intercepted by very small system, and the cost is not much. Indian weapon system is the cheapest in the world, sir. It's the world class technology actually being sold at peanuts.
Okay, thank you. In fact, I'm part of College of Engineering, Guindy, Anna University, which is the oldest engineering college in Asia. It is 230 years old. That is the reason this question. No, that is the reason this question, because we are, I mean, nobody talks of the cost involved in any war.
So we are very sharp brains. So Indians are the sharpest brain in the world, and that is how we get hired. And there's so much brain drain is happening because जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, इंडियन जुगाड़ से जो काम कर सकता है ना सर, वो कोई दुनिया में नहीं कर सकता. आपने रिफ्यूलर्स लिए थे फ्रॉम इजराइल एंड आपके जहाज थे अमेरिकन, और आपने क्या किया, आपने पाइप लगा के रिफ्यूलिंग सिस्टम बना दिया बिकॉज इट वाज नॉट गेटिंग फिटेड. So we are so good with technology, and to an extent, India actually knows कि cost of war क्या है, and an economy like ours, which is still, I'll not say, which is still booming. तो उनको पता है कि कम में काम कैसे चलाना है. The defense budgets are now soaring. Earlier, they were not so good defense budgets. So we actually had to make makeshift arrangements. And we are good at it. Our scientists and the new laptop army, which is coming from colleges like yours, they are excellent, sir. They are the brain behind this machine. Army can go and fight on the border, but the real strength comes from the people who are giving them the technological edge over the world. And this is how we are becoming world class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Even I think the Akash Tir and Akash also were used extensively, right? I mean, they are much lower level than S-400, I suppose, right, ma'am?
Sir, Akash Tir is again the entire system. Akash is a missile.
No, but
yes, Akash is a missile, sir. It's a SAM missile. But Akash Tir is again a system like S-400.
Right.
And these are very interesting. We will have to take another session. We have already overshot our time by almost an hour. And it was an interesting thing, and it's very close to my heart. So that is why I suggested, sir, that let's do this. They are two different systems, sir. Akash Tir will need another class. Okay. So I request you go online and see these S-400, how it works, and the Akash Tir also. Now the Kusha system is also coming. So another few years, we have Kusha system also. The Indian air defense is multi-layered.
Right.
So a lot of things are happening, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all. Any interesting sessions will always extend. So nothing to worry about that. Mr. Gopi always accommodates that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.